Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Kamen Zero Spike back again once again. And today, people, we're here for Ohsama Sentai King-Ohger episode 37. And this episode gave us peak lore. I don't even like saying the word peak, but they gave us peak lore on that boy, our Black Ranger, Mr. Kakaragi Deboski. And we got a lot of backstory on him, man. We got his full life. Like, not full, well, no, he was a farmer and stuff like that. He wasn't royalty at first, just like all the others. Well, except maybe Himino. I don't know if she was like any type of, well, yep, scratch that. Himino was royalty technically, but everybody else wasn't. Well, her and Rita. I mean, I guess they were some kind of royalty, but everybody else, nothing. Maybe Jeremy. I think Jeremy was some, probably. But other than that, hey, how you doing? I started with a ramble, but in this episode we get all the backstory, the much needed backstory of Mr. Deboski, and it was cool. Like, we got the cinematography and how they did this episode was actually really good. Like, especially the symbolism and everything else. Like, they really put a lot into this episode. I mean, there's other episodes they have put a lot into, but as far as doing a really, really good backstory, they put a lot into this, and it shows that they put a lot of, like, especially when they did Yanoma's backstory, Himino's backstory, Rita's backstory, they put a lot of really, really deep, like, attention into their backstories, and it gave us a lot of details about them, who they were before, like, just. It was really, really good. Like, especially this one. This was really, really good. I really thought that the previous ruler was like going to be his mother. I mean, like, because the people, like, we had this whole notion that the leader of Tofu was just greedy, and then they took all the food away from the regular people when the Fury of the Gods happened, which that is partially true, but there is a reason for that. There was a reason for that. We see that Grori has brought back to life Lord Iroki, and Iroki was the previous leader, and she seemed very awesome. Like, she seemed like a great ruler. She loved the people and everything. She was beautiful and everything. And we see that she even brought Suzune and Katsuragi into the throne before her, and she tasted their rice, and the rice was actually really freaking good, and she ended up wanting to buy this rice for them and teaching other people how to make this rice. And Deboski was like, yeah, let's do it. And yeah, wanted to teach people how to make this rice. He was like, yeah, let's do it. Susan was like, are you sure this is a family recipe and things like that? But like, she's honoring us, like, for real. Like, but Iroki saw something in Deboski, and she saw that he is brutally honest. Like, he is very honest. That he just seems like a person that would never betray her. So she ends up bringing him in and actually letting him live in the palace, and giving him like basically giving him all these like privileges and things like that. So now he's not a farmer anymore. He's not a dirt covered farmer anymore. He's not that guy. So we also saw why Rita was selected by Deboski himself to come with him when it came down to getting Tofu back. He kind of had her on her own like little secret thing for them to do. But yeah, so Iroki was brought back by Grori, and now everybody in Tofu is like blaming him for a lot of things, for like some things that are happening in Tofu, and it's starting to resemble things that are happening that happened in the past. Even Grori is somewhat taking orders from Iroki, and it seems like Iroki is very different from anybody else that he has brought back to life. Anybody else that he has brought back to life has been like kind of psycho or psychotic, or really didn't have like any semblance of their old self. They were kind of like just like this husk, you know. I mean, with Rita's mother, kind of, sorta, but she had some semblance of her regular life, but she was kind of just like a mindless husk and anything like that. But Iroki just seems like she was never dead. She seems like she was just it. Like, and he's somewhat taking orders from her. Like, she tells him to go off and, you know, go bring Daboski to her. And we basically, since Tofu has like basically stopped giving food to the other kingdoms don't have any food, and we see that in Ishibana the only thing they have to eat is flowers and wasabi. Gross. Which also would lead to our other rangers being so hungry that they can't fight, but we'll get to that in a second. Also, we find out that, you know, Jeremy does not need to eat, because he's lived for 200 years technically, so he really doesn't need to eat, so he doesn't feel the effects of that over hungry thing that the other rangers got going on. But we saw that the other rangers did end up sneaking into Tofu, and they end up coming in contact with Grody, and he's basically making rice. They did try to fight him. But they see everybody passed out except Jeremy. So the only people that were there are it was Yanma. It was Gira, Jeremy, and Himeno. So yeah, they were there, and they couldn't fight him because, you know, he's like, they haven't eaten at all. And while we pan over back to Katsuragi, he's speaking with Hiroki, and I thought they were gonna maybe fight at all, but we get a lot of backstory on how exactly she died in the first place. And we did see that when the Fury of the Gods happened, yes, she did hoard all the food and take all the food away from everyone and cause everyone to suddenly start starving and everything like that while the Fury of the Gods is happening. And everybody kind of just basically made Katsuragi like the leader of everyone technically, and they wanted to just storm the palace. Like, all these people wanted to just storm the palace and run up in there and take all the rice back and things like that. And he tells people, like, past Katsuragi, he tells everyone that, hey, look, I'm gonna go ask her, can we have the rice back? Suzume is like, no, I already tried that. And he's like, listen, if I go ahead and go, he said, if I go ahead and go and ask her, and if I die or anything like that, then y'all can storm this place. I'll be dead. Y'all can do whatever y'all want to do, but I'm gonna go ask her one more time. So he goes into the palace. He tries to go in there. He tries to speak with her and talks to her about it, and she basically tells him that, I'm basically hoarding all of it. And she says that, hey, before we do anything, how about let's have one last meal? And this is in the past. So he had one last meal. She eats like a few bowls of rice, and then she suddenly falls to her knees, and turns out the rice was poisoned. She starts coughing up blood and things like that, and she ends up giving him, she and then she sets the place on fire on purpose, and she gives him like a sword, and she tells him to strike her down, but he's like, no, I can't do that. No, I can't do that. And she ends up burning, and she does also end up burning alive. So he goes back after she dies. He goes back to the people. He's very like traumatized, and Suzume runs up to him. She looks at him. She sees that he has like blood. He has like blood on his hands, and he has a sword in his hand. And they come to the conclusion that, oh, he must have killed her. So he doesn't tell anybody what really happened, because she knew because Hiroki knew that he would technically never betray her, and he never told anybody like what really happened that day. And then after that, he is named like the ruler of Tofu. But then what really happened after he's speaking with her, again, we go back and we see that the rest of our rangers are trying to fight Grody, but when they find out that he tries to feed them first. He starts cooking this rice, and he tries to feed them first, and he throws like the aroma of the rice in their faces. And then the aroma kind of like, Himeno smells this aroma, and she basically says that it has a certain scent to it. Like she remembers like there's a certain aroma about this rice. And just when the guys get ready to eat these rice balls, she stops them from eating it, and she basically tells them that he said, don't eat those rice, they're poisoned, because that scent I smell on it has the scent of God Scorpion. It has, so he put Scorpies venom in this rice, and he was going to poison them with it. And now everybody gets like freaking pissed off, and then they use whatever strength that they have, with the exception of Jeremy, because he ain't died. And they try fighting off on Ghidorah, and they can't beat Ghidorah. But while they're fighting Ghidorah, we see that Katsuragi is having his last few words with Iroki, and he tells her that he reveals everything. He basically says that, oh well, the only reason you hoarded the rice from everybody during the Fury of the Gods, because you knew that the rice that we had back then was poisoned, and we knew that Ghidorah was Ghidorah was the one that poisoned the rice. He was already the one that poisoned the rice, and you knew that if the people and other nations ate that rice, it would kill a bunch of people and also ruin the reputation of tofu. And even if it was a mistake or something like that, it will ruin the reputation of tofu, and people wouldn't buy food or anything from tofu again. It will ruin basically the infrastructure and kill a bunch of people and all that stuff. And she knew that, but she didn't tell anybody. She didn't say anything, and she also had killed herself, or tried, or basically offed herself and told Katsuragi to do it, and he couldn't do it, so she ended up dying in the fire. But he came there to essentially get rid of her himself. But so after so she's like, good, you finally figured it out, and I guess at the end of the day you really did betray me. And that's when we go back to our regular crew. We see that they're still fighting Ghidorah, and he ends up transforming into his real galactic insect form, which it looks cool. I mean, it looks fine. They did, he's a snail. I didn't see that coming. Maybe it's because he's very sluggish. He's very slow walking and stuff like that. So him being a snail makes sense. I also like how his hat is also incorporated into his monster form. But yeah, so he ends up slashing Himeno in her eyes, and he basically gets rid of her vision. Like she only sees like red and things like that. And yeah, it seems like, but he says that it doesn't last long. But yeah, so just when he's getting ready to do like the final blow on them, he ends up that's when we see Dabowski come in and intercept his attack, and Dabowski starts fighting Ghidorah and actually beats him. Like, he beats him himself, and after he beats him in a really cool way. He like slices him in half and stuff like that. We know Ghidorah's not dead though. Ghidorah's a really hard dude to kill, like really hard dude to beat, so it's gonna be when he finally gets taken out, I hope Dabowski's the one to do it. But yeah, after that he ends up getting Tofu back, and they ended up disposing of all of the poisoned rice. And after that we see that Tofu has been successfully taken back. Yeah, so now we got three more places to get back. We got Ishibana back, we got Tofu back. Now we really actually have to get Inkastopa back. But the next episode we are getting Goken. We're going to Goken, and this is gonna be a weird one. Yeah, it's gonna be weird getting Goken back. This is gonna be completely out of Rita's character, but yeah. And we also got, and last but not least, we are gonna have to get Shogadam. Shogadam most likely is going to be the hardest place to get back. But yeah, this episode was awesome. I like this because Dabowski is one of my favorite characters, and to give this amazing backstory on why he is the way he is, and his tragic backstory, and his actual, what's been going on with him, like how he became this and how his kingdom came to be and things like that, was actually really, really good. And I was really hoping that like Hiroki was like his mom, or like him and Suzune's mom or something, because it's actually, I mean, like there's a resemblance there. Like I really felt like that was like his mom or something like that. And also no mecha fight in this episode at all. And yeah, man, I really thought that was gonna be like their mom or something like that. And also I wonder, like, how was she able to like hold her sanity, like how, and give Grody orders? Like how is she giving him orders? You know, how is she giving him orders? Like, I'm the one that brought you back to life. I'm the master here. And I'm like, what are you, like, who is she, Madoka Uchiha? Like, seriously. But also the actor for Grody and the actress for Hiroki are actually married in real life. So that's actually a really cool thing. Like, imagine, I mean, lets me know they probably did some really magical role play after they were done filming. But I'm gonna leave it there. But if you made it this far in the video, please, thank you for watching. Hit that like button, share, subscribe, all that good jazz. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm gonna see you guys next time. Let me know all your thoughts down there in the comment section below about this episode. What was your favorite part? What did you think of Hiroki and everything in between? I'm gonna see you guys next time, and remember, stay Kenshined.